Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are so thrilled to have on young minds with huge brains. And we are excited to do this. Joining us are the team from SproutLabs, or some of the team from SproutLabs. We got Siddhant Bhardwaj is the CEO. How you doing, Sid?
I'm great. How are you, Drew?
I'm doing just fine, joined by your colleague, Devin Bussey, is the Chief Scientific Officer. How you doing, Devin?
Pretty good.
Always a good day when my colleague and business partner, Charles Parisi, the founder and CEO of Cloudcast Media, joins, and he loves it when we got young minds that are entrepreneurial and innovative. And because Charles, one day you were at this age, correct?
No question about it. I love being on the air with young entrepreneurs. Thank you for letting me join.
Absolutely. We'll start with you, Siddhant. Talk a little bit about what the mission is of SproutLabs and whose idea was it, and what do you guys do?
Sure. So SproutLabs is basically a company that's focused on removing the barriers to entry for growing your own fresh food at home. We're an autonomous hydroponics growing system that grows fresh greens between 4 to 7 days. So the idea for it to work is you make it as easy as possible, right? You just pour the water in the box, you throw the seeds in with our nutrient solution that Devin's cooking up, and then you leave it for about a week. And then from there, you can harvest your fresh greens, and then you're good to go. So we grow microgreens, and that's extremely, fresh, nutritious, and very dense food that we can grow. And so that's really just to help, up your macros. And we're trying to help people get more access to that by removing the barriers to entry for growing things, by, making it as easy as possible. But so the way Devin and I built this was we actually met last year. And so we met at the Design and Innovation Building at UCSD. So it's right by the trolley station. I live on the second floor, the makerspace. And he was over there for the bio-entrepreneurship stuff that he's really into. So we bumped into each other at the basement, which is the first floor of the DIB. And that's really the entrepreneurship center. And so we just started talking because we have extremely similar backgrounds, which I was very surprised about. And yeah, for 10 years, we've both been growing our own skills in our own realms. For me, it's been product design, electrical engineering, some mechanical engineering kind of stuff. And for him, it's all like bio and sustainability, environmental stuff. It's like he's really, really impressive. And we grew up doing it competitively. So we would go, I did a lot of science fairs and invention conventions over here in Connecticut. And he's done the same in San Diego. And then we just kind of started talking because I built a bunch of things from, devices to help the visually impaired move around safely to, research apparatuses for my lab at UCSD. But we've also kind of intersected at sustainable technology. Because one thing that I built is a device that can attach to any drone, custom or consumer, to aerially drop seeds that, really democratizes reforestation and things like that. And so we started talking about bio-entrepreneurship, and then we found an idea as fast as possible that, could make as big of an impact to help as many people as we could, which was, this box.
I think what's interesting about that, and I'll pivot over to you, Devin. So you've been delving into this for quite a while, as Sid has in his end of it. But as a kid, were you interested in plants? Did you have a garden at home, and you were in charge of the garden, and everyone knows ever needed to be anywhere near it but you? Talk about that.
Yeah, I actually had a really good upbringing whenever it came to plants. One of my earliest memories was literally my dad would open up pumpkins in our backyard to see if they were fresh. And because we were there to harvest the seeds and to harvest like the meat of the pumpkin. Right. So he would place me in the pumpkin, and my earliest memory was me just sitting inside of it and crying.
Oh
And,
my goodness!
Wow.
Growing out of happiness, joy, or just not happy.
I was a little bit. I got nervous sometimes being in the garden when I was little because it was a super big deal to my parents. My access and my like ability to grow plants goes back even further than like my own life. My dad, my grandpa, my great grandpa, like pretty much as far back as you can go in our family that actually has like written history and like observed history. It's always been farmers. And they came from Wisconsin, and from Wisconsin they came from Germany. And I don't even know where it goes back from there, but
Interesting.
yeah, and I use very similar techniques with our very technical growing box that people did like hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
So you're born of the soil. It's in your genes.
Yeah, I mean, I never really thought I was going to get into agronomy. I always thought I was going to be super into like ecological things, animals, evolution. But like over time, it's like everybody in our family just eventually, for some reason, just gets pulled into the agriculture space.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Sid or Devin, either one of you maybe take it, because I think I get geeked up about the product. With you, old school agronomy, the way your ancestors farmed, and now you've built this seemingly high-tech system. Talk about what's in the box. How did you engineer this?
So most of the engineering was actually performed by Sid when we created one of our first prototypes, him and our lead product designer, Alex Goldstone. But the way that I incorporate my methods into it is I've created a microgreen solution that works specifically with the box. And we've discovered that you need this solution that I've created in order to actually use the box. Basically what will happen is you have their box and you have a tray. What you would do is you open up one of our packets and you pour it onto the tray, just like kind of spread it out evenly. You put it into the box, you power the box on, and what will happen with the box is it'll automatically like let you know what stage it is in the growing process, so you can kind of like learn more about how agriculture happens. And then we use a soaking technique for the seeds. This is one of the things that kind of strays away. This is one of the few components that kind of strays away from that like classical agricultural component, which is we use hydroponics. It's literally, there's no soil at all. All you do is you put the seeds on top of the tray. The roots will automatically grow down, and as they grow down, the water level decreases as well.
Right.
And yeah, and as that occurs, eventually they will sprout up through a process that you get to fully understand, manufacture yourself without the use of like, obviously there's no preservatives because it's literally happening in your house. Like that's one of the best parts of it is you don't need to worry about extra chemicals inside your food.
Yeah. So Sid, the question for you on this, and Devin mentions that you push something to activate. Is it battery operated? Is it AC/DC? What is it doing when you hit this button, so to speak?
Right. So for now in our current design, our V1, we've got a grow light that, you plug into the wall AC/DC.
Okay, right.
But, we're thinking about going battery powered, and, this kind of strays away from our initial product right now. But Devin and I have this dream of building a high tech, fully autonomous box, right? And so with that, you would be able to have a bunch of sensors, integrations with, AI, machine learning, buzzwords, stuff like that. And so with that, it's a fully enclosed system, right? So with those sensors, you gather that data, and then you maximize the output of how much you're growing by, messing with the settings on the inside. And that's more super in-depth, but, for now, we just plug it into the wall.
Right. So is the box called, is there a name for the box? I mean, it's part of SproutLabs, obviously, is the company. What's the name of the box? Is there a name for the box?
So that's something that we've talked about for a long time, because we went through a rebrand in around May-ish. And so we're like, we named the company, and then we're like, what do we name the product? And then, so after going through a whole bunch of iterations of like Latin names or like, aliens, planets, stuff like that, we're just like, what if we call it the box? So on our website, we put up as the description, we call it the box V1. And so we'll just go from there as we continue to work on it.
That's great. We're chatting with Siddhant Bhardwaj. He is the CEO of SproutLabs, joined by his colleague Devin Buss, Chief Scientific Officer. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We've been doing our Spotlight on the Community show now for 19 years. We're the longest running community podcast in the nation. We're sponsored by Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing great things for people living in San Diego County, where there's food insecurity, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's art, financial literacy. You pick a topic there that's certainly involved. Joined by my colleague and the CEO and founder of Cloudcast Media, Charles Parisi. How impressive are these two?
No, I think it's very impressive. And first of all, I think anytime young, brilliant people are working on something, building a product, it's great. It doesn't really actually matter if the company succeeds or fails. I think it's incredible to just do it. Okay, so let me get under the hood a little bit here because I'm getting excited. So you have essentially 3 things here. You've got the box, you've got the seed, and you've got this solution. I think I heard you call it, Devin, right? That it requires a solution to grow. So give me a feel for what you're thinking about from a monetization standpoint. How are you going to make money? Is it going to be like razor blade companies that you make money by selling the refills? Or give me some thought about what you're thinking about.
Right. You want to take this, Devin? Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I was going to just say that there's 2 main things that we're thinking about right now. One of them is, like you said, the refill system, where the box itself we could even be down on a loss and still be making money because people would be continuously purchasing the seeds. Siddhant?
Yeah. So again, like when you buy a car, the dealership doesn't make money on the car. They make money on, the refills, the oil changes, stuff like that. And so that's our recurring revenue model right now, which is, the seeds. And then we're playing around with maybe having an app integration, right? And through that, we'll have tiers of really just trying to ensure that people can grow their own food properly. Because before all this started, I was a guy that, killed plants, right? I killed a succulent before. But I ended up learning through this system and with Devin, really how to take care of our own garden, things like that. So back home, I've taken care of all our plants starting this summer. And we realized that we could replicate that, right? So with this app system, we could, maybe create an individualized learning platform.
Well, it's so funny you mentioned that. Was going to be literally my question, because I heard earlier that the system will notify you what stage of growth your microgreens are. So immediately I thought of, you should have an app, because now the app lends itself also to educational applications for students around the world, potentially to tap into data and learn from the growing process by almost building your own network of all of these boxes connected and all the data and knowledge that's coming out of there. And I see Devin's head is spinning a little bit thinking about that.
Yeah, before we jump into that, how big is the box, by the way? What's the dimensions?
So right now we've got it to our individual size because, we're college students. We're, working with college students. So it's about 8 inches across to 6 inches high.
So shoebox type, something like that?
Something like that.
Something like that. I mean, is it rectangle or is it a square?
It's a rectangle.
Okay, so it's like a shoebox. Maybe not quite exactly like a shoebox, but I get the idea. Okay, very good. And
is it beautiful, though? I mean that in a serious way. The aesthetics should be tight.
The aesthetics are amazing, yeah.
Okay.
You can check out the renders on our website right now at SproutLabs.us.
Okay, but let's talk about that. I'll start with you, Siddhant, on this, and I'll pivot over to Devin. How would you describe the box? Okay, use every bit of your adjectives in your brain to say the box looks like this. Okay, how'd you describe it? Colors, everything, texture, look, feel, everything.
I think
right.
Oh yeah.
So from colors to anything, I want you to imagine basically any color that you want, right? We're trying to make it as aesthetically pleasing to fit any vibe in your house, just to make sure that, not only is it utilitarian, it also looks good. It's an appliance in your home, right? We're able to test out a bunch of different colors right now and the way things look because we're 3D printing them. So our favorites are green, navy. I'm very partial to navy. We've got this very fancy, like porcelain filament that looks like marble almost. And then we also have we have red, we have purples. Just basically anything that you want, you can mix and match the colors because our our system itself is 3-tiered, right? We have the main apparatus that holds a tray, and that tray could be a different color, right? So I usually go with navy and white. And then that tray has an insert. That's our mesh insert that you put the seeds on top. And so I usually go with yellow because I like having a bit of contrast. But really, you can mix and match those colors. And yeah, it's just a very aesthetically pleasing, I think. There's a lot of curves. It's like basically like an iPhone and a Keurig put together.
I was just going to ask you, are you, from a pricing standpoint, are you kind of taking the mass market retail Keurig approach or the little higher end Nespresso and up audience?
I'd like to go something that we've talked about for a long time. And really, since we began this company with our team and things like that, is making this as accessible as possible because we're solving a real problem that has a lot of systemic issues. So we want to price it as low as we can. But I can't give you a perfect number right now because a lot of the manufacturing processes and things like that have changed in the last couple of months. And we can't give you the right price, but I want you to know that we can give you the most, cost-effective price that we have.
We come back from break. We're going to continue the conversation with our friends from SproutLabs. Sit on Bard Watch. He's the CEO, joined by his colleague Devin Buss, Chief Scientific Officer. We're going to find out more about the product, what we can do to help you sell the product and get this engaged. Charles had brought up about the app and reaching out to the schools. Maybe what a great activity for the students to learn this as well. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest running community podcast, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things for people in San Diego County. And we will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We got our friends in from SproutLabs. We got Bard Watch. He is the CEO of this very innovative and creative group, joined by his Chief Scientific Officer, Devin Buss. I'm joined by the founder and CEO of Cloudcast Media, my business partner. And Charles, I got to tell you something here. This is pretty darn exciting.
Yeah, I think it's great. And I guess the question I have, and I think you should never concern yourself with competition too much. It's like with the iPhone. There was phones existed before Steve Jobs took on the industry. And of course, then they dominate the industry. Who else is in this space?
Right now in this space, we have Shruly. It's basically a box that does the same thing that we're doing, but for mushrooms. Right now, there is no immediate direct competitor other than these quote-unquote smart gardens that they're kind of like egg-shaped. A lot of them like to be like very minimalist, new kind of like design prowesses. And when it comes to those, though, those are like $400, $500, even upwards of like $1,000 per unit for like growing agriculture or doing agriculture inside your own home. So right now, like there's nothing immediately, I guess, competing with us other than Shruly, because they also have that like lower and more cost-effective environment.
So right now, it's just microgreens, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so first of all, let's talk volume for a second. You know, it takes, you said about a week, you said, was it 3 to 8 days?
4 to 7 days, right?
4 to 7 days. What kind of volume comes out at the end of that 4 to 7 day period?
When it comes to the volume, it's not so much more. Well, it's a lot of volume. I've had people, I don't think, I've had a ton of people be able to come back to us and be like, yeah, I ate all of it by myself. Usually they have to always like share it with people in order to like keep it good for like its entire lifetime, which always happens. Like typically people will share it because it is just like that much volume. And then also it's mostly focused on the nutrient content. So that's just like a side effect from our box design. But more so like now it's kind of a focus for us because of the nutrient density. One amount of microgreens, basically the same biomass, the same like weight for microgreens. If you were to fully grow each microgreen, let's say you take a radish microgreen and you grow that into a fully grown radish, that same weight in microgreens for the fully grown radish and just the stems, which is what microgreens are, just the stems, it'll give you up to 40 times more nutrients than that radish on the most nutritious parts of this plant.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question because you've probably heard this: venture capitalists invest in people, not ideas. So the question is, who are the two of you? Meaning that is this a for-profit company?
As of right now, it is.
Okay. Okay. So are you hardcore capitalists or are you conscious capitalists? Why are you doing this?
They're going to be a B Corp before the end of the show's over, which would be good for you guys, right?
So give us a feel for because obviously poverty and access to food and healthy foods is a major challenge in some parts of this country. In the vast parts of this country, it's not a challenge at all. So
right.
Is that at all driving some of this for you? And where do you want to see the box?
No, yeah, it is. It is definitely driving it. And as you said, we're looking to be conscious capitalists, right? My parents, they're also entrepreneurs. They're also doing conscious capitalism. So it's kind of in my blood, right? So we're trying to make an impact and help as many people as we can because we have the ability to, right? We feel like if we're able to come up with this idea that, has this impact, why not start solving systemic level problems? And so, yeah, we'd love to see the box in these low income and food desert areas because that's really what we're trying to do, right? Not only is it lowering your environmental impact where, there's a lot of over farming happening and, transportation, carbon footprint stuff, you're able to get, fresh food from what you're growing on your own with very minimal effort, right? So you're getting that same nutrients, that same macros, really fulfilling the basic need of food. So with this.
Okay.
So how many folks are on the team?
So our core team is 6 people.
Right.
So it's me, it's Devin, and then we've got our lead product designer, Alex Goldstone. We've got our marketing and brand strategist, Smriti Sambamurthy. We've got our commercialization strategist, Noah So. And we have our organic chemistry researcher, Naomi Lee.
All UCSD folks?
All UCSD. We're actually all rising juniors. So we're all 19 and 20.
Okay, very good. All Tritons over there. You wouldn't let an Aztec in there, would you, by any chance?
Absolutely not. I'm just kidding. There's no hate.
If you could see by my shirt, Sid, I'm a proud SDSU dad, and I actually went to school there as well. Pretty exciting stuff. I want to get back to something Charles was alluding to with the app and so forth. Have you thought about applications for our K-12 schools at all and using what you're doing or learning about this?
Yeah, actually. So, this is Devin's favorite topic to talk about. So I'll start us off and he can take over from there.
Please.
But we started building the box, right? We've done a couple of pitch competitions. We've actually gotten real results from it. And then some unintended consequence happened, right? Smriti came to us at one of our CFT meetings, our cross-functional team meetings. And she's like, my aunt thought this would be a great tool to, teach kids because she has a young son. And we're like, whoa. Is that something we can actually do? And we talked about it for a while because these cross-functional team meetings are, engineering and product design. And then there's also bio and business. So it's really everyone that's, talking about this idea and bringing it together. And so, yeah, we talked about it And then we were like, we actually could, because the nature of this box, is, we can see the full growing process from germination to harvest at an accelerated rate, right? So that's within a week. And we're like, we could use this as a teaching tool. Like, this is really cool. So Devin, you want to take over from here?
Yeah, so I've been reaching out to schools, and I've been working with like smaller schools, kind of like private or more private elementary schools, because what we've discovered is it's easier to get these into elementary school classrooms because it also will reach more children versus, let's say you go to a middle school or a high school where there's, say, 4 biology classes. Every single classroom in an elementary school is teaching biology. Right. So that's one of the best places to go to, as well as the fact that sometimes they even go to 8th grade. I went to a private elementary school. I went from K to 8th grade. And in that case, it would have been with me all the way, even through what would be for most public schools like middle school. Right. So like trying to reach out to private schools right now just to keep it like smaller, because trying to get into a full scale public like school system is really hard.
So I can tell you right now that we're going to tee you up offline to our friend who is the principal at Encinitas Unified Union School District. They're a K-8 district. She's wonderful. Andre Gray is her name. They are all focused on environment, and they have a farm lab that has been nationally recognized. When you have a chance, look at the Encinitas Union School District, and I think we can make an introduction. What do you think about that, Charles?
I think not only them, but I think Leangela Brady and then Eduardo Reyes at Chula Vista Elementary School District.
Yeah.
I think all of them would, because I think it'd be great to sprinkle it around different parts of the county.
Absolutely.
And then obviously see customers at work using the product. I'm going to go back to the data. I'm assuming you're kind of geeked up, Devin, about bioinformatics.
Yeah, we actually had a bioinformatics strategist on our team in our last hiring cycle. And I learned a lot from her and she learned a lot from me, and it's been really fun. What specifically about bioinformatics?
But meaning, and how much data do you think you actually can pull from all of this network of devices potentially?
Oh, like hundreds. From what we want, we'd like being able to give these to people, and then them each individual box will be pulling its own data individually for us. Mm-hmm. So like terabytes upon terabytes, like hundreds of thousands of hours of planting happening at once.
I think you have another revenue source that you should probably pay attention to, because I think the data has value. Okay. From a scientific research standpoint, agriculture, I think you have a whole new revenue source there if you really tap into it and think about it a little bit. That's just that's my gut feeling.
Yeah, there's no
Thanks
doubt.
so much.
Yeah, no question about it. So as we wind up the podcast, by the way, great content you've shared for our listeners, and we're grateful for that. We'll start with you on this, Devin, then pivot over to Sid. What can our listeners do to help support what you folks are doing?
Right now they can tune into our website and see when our upcoming events are. Come to our demo days, come to our demonstrations, kind of check us out in person, but they can also check us out online. You can contact us through email if you want to get more, if you want to get further into kind of seeing what it'll be like to get one of these boxes. And then also by contacting us through that, you can also sign up to be a beta tester, which is something that's a lot of people who've come up to our table have shown a lot of interest in.
Now, Sid, did I understand that Devin called it demonstrations and not demonstrations? Is that correct, Sid? Wait, did we coin it?
I think we coined a new term. So right now, we've been calling him Dr. Bus because his middle name is Robert.
Right.
And so he's not a doctor yet. He wants a PhD.
DR Bus.
Well, but I like the demonstration. So I think we came up with a new term over here for it. Sid, what else? What can you add to this so our listeners can support? I'm sure capital doesn't hurt.
Capital does not hurt at all. We'd love any support if you would be able to provide it. We're really just trying to work on, our research and development, things like that. And so, again, as Devin said, you can keep up with us on our social medias. We have an Instagram at sprout.labs. And then we also have a LinkedIn that's SproutLabs01. All of this is on our website, which is www.sproutlabs.us. But yeah, no, anything doesn't hurt. If you would love to just hang out, maybe even spread the word would be amazing.
Well, here a couple things I'm going to mention to both of you. So yeah, capital is really important. And one of the things that we're talking about here in the case of myself and Drew is don't forget connectivity capital. It's not a deposit you put in your bank, but it maybe is more valuable. So when we talk about connecting to you to schools and partnerships, that's actually the equivalent of capital. So Drew and I will appreciate a friends and family discount valuation on the next cap raise. But are you actually going through a formal cap raise? Do you have the structure in place to do it? Because you're kind of like at a friends and family seed level. Have you tried raising capital?
We're at the stage where right before that, we went through a couple of programs. The first one is the Blackstone Launchpad at UCSD, which is really like the main entrepreneurship program there that really got us, bootstrapped, right? We figured out our company, what we want to do. We gained a lot of support as well. And so our advisors from pretty much, the basement have told us that we should, form a C Corp. And which is best for, shares and all that business stuff. So we're kind of working on that right now. But as we move forward, we also went through the National Science Foundation I-Corps program. And that really helped us with our customer validation. That's where we, figured out about schools, like how we could talk to schools, things like that. And then we're at the process where we're validating our product and then, hopefully starting to raise capital this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't discount a B Corp as well, because you guys are in that wheelhouse. Well, Sid and Devin, what a pleasure chatting with you folks. We'll guarantee you, and I think Charles will agree with me, this will be at the last time that we'll have you folks on. Sid, when you're back from Connecticut, we'll actually get you in studio if that makes sense as well. But we wish you guys nothing but great success and look forward to following you to the next time you come on the show. How's that sound?
That sounds awesome.
Thank you so much.
You bet. We've been talking to Sid Bardwatch. He's the CEO of SproutLabs, joined by his colleague Devin Buss, Chief Scientific Officer. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 19th year, brought to you by the fine folks at Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in San Diego County. Charles Parisi, my business partner and founder and CEO of Cloudcast. Thank you so much for joining, as always.
Thank you, Drew. It's been great to be here with the both of you.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.